Hey everyone, I'm Shane Luff. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever picked up your phone just to check one thing, and then suddenly it's been 30 minutes or even an hour and you're still scrolling? If that sounds familiar to you, you're not alone. The average person spends a huge amount of time on social media every single day, and most of the time, we don't even realize it. But the impact this has on us is actually way bigger than we think. This is super relevant to all of us because almost everyone here uses social media, and it's really easy to lose track of time when we're on it. I've definitely been there myself, scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, and I started noticing how much time I was wasting and how it was affecting me mentally. So I started doing some research on what happens when we use social media too much and what happens when we started limiting that time. What I found made me realize something really important. We need to start setting time limits on our social media use. Too much time online isn't just a waste. It actually affects our mental health, kills our productivity, and creates habits that are hard to break. Today, I'm going to talk about how social media use affects our mental health, how it lowers our productivity and focus, and how setting time limits can actually help us build better habits and feel better overall. Let's start with mental health. Research has shown a strong connection between spending a lot of time on social media and feeling anxious or depressed. According to the American Journal of Psychiatry, people who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are way more likely to report high levels of anxiety and depression compared to people who use it less. One reason for this is the comparison culture we're all exposed to. On social media, we only see the best parts of people's lives: filtered photos, big accomplishments, constant highlights. It makes it super easy to compare ourselves and feel like we're not doing enough or we aren't good enough. The National Institute of Mental Health said that this kind of exposure can actually lead to lower self-esteem and even loneliness, especially in younger people like us. And it's not just emotional, it affects how we physically feel too. Constant scrolling, especially when it's unstructured and nonstop, actually raises our stress levels. But when people start limiting their screen time, their stress goes down and their emotional well-being improves. That's a pretty strong reason to consider cutting back. The second big issue is how social media ruins our ability to focus and be productive. Think about how often you get distracted by notifications. Every time you stop doing what you're doing to check your phone, it breaks your concentration, and it takes time to get back into the zone. A study in Frontiers in Psychology found that employees who frequently check social media at work actually get less done overall. Even for students like us, constantly checking Instagram or TikTok while studying makes tasks take longer and lowers the quality of our work. It also leads to procrastination. We tell ourselves, I'll just scroll for 5 more minutes, and next thing you know, we're pushing off homework and studying for way longer than we meant to, right at the end of the deadlines. Now, here's the good news. Setting time limits on social media actually works. It helps us build healthier routines and makes us feel better overall. A study by Hunt, Marks, and Lipson and Young found that people who set a daily time limits for social media reported more in control of their time. They also had better focus and higher levels of well-being. Simply having a time limit made a big difference. One big tip is to limit social media use before bed. The Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that people who cut out screen time at least an hour before sleeping had better and deeper sleep. That makes sense. Less stimulation before bed means your brain can relax. And here's something really cool. Another study found that people who limited social media to just 30 minutes a day felt less lonely and less depressed after just 3 weeks. That's a pretty quick turnaround for just a small change. So, to wrap it all up, putting time limits on our social media use isn't just a good idea, it's honestly something we need. It improves our mental health, helps us stay focused and productive, and pushes us toward better daily habits. Remember, using social media too much is linked to anxiety and depression. It distracts us from what really matters and can hurt our ability to get things done. But time limits can help us take control and feel better overall. So, I challenge you to try it. Set a timer, use app limits, whatever works for you, just give it a shot and see how you feel. Because in the end, wouldn't it be better to spend your time on things that actually matter, like hobbies, relationships, real experiences, instead of losing hours to endless scrolling? The choice is yours, and small things, little steps can make a big difference. Thank you for listening.